Here with senior Liz King to preview the 2016 track and field season, specifically the indoor season as we look ahead. But first, we'll take a little look back at 2015. It was a great year for both track programs. The women in particular, second in the conference, both indoor and outdoor, and national finishes 5th and 11th. How much fun was it to be a part of that success of last season?
It was really fun. There's a lot more of a team aspect than has been in previous years on the girls' side, and it was so much fun. It was like, there were so many more people out towards the throws. There were so many more people watching the runners, and it was just a lot of fun, I think, towards the end. And we really kind of accomplished something, I think, because we took 5th and we took 2nd at conference. But we lost to Doan by like 100 points or something like that. Like I'm kind of creamed by Doan. But at nationals we beat them. Like they took 6th, or we tied them. It was something like that. We beat them or we tied them. It was something weird. And that was a huge accomplishment for us. That's like 100 points to make up in a harder track meet. So it was awesome.
Now you personally improved a lot in the hammer throw during outdoor last season. What should we expect from you in indoor? You only have a couple throwing events to focus on for indoor.
Yeah. Weight's a little bit different than hammer, and so that's a little bit of just a challenge in itself. It's shorter, it's faster. So we'll see. I don't really know how it's going to work out. There were some things I figured out, and we changed last year that helped a lot with hammer. And there's similar things that are going to help with weight, but it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of touch and go. It's not really consistent yet. So when we can get consistent with it, then that will be a lot better if we can progress that way. But consistency is really the hard part right now. So.
You must have been just terribly upset with a national runner-up finish in the javelin. Does that motivate you moving forward after winning it and then being runner-up?
It was frustrating, but it was something where I had taken to a little bit of perspective. The girl who won, PR'd by like 8 feet, and she was a senior. She broke her school record. It was a frustrating meet for me, but I couldn't be really upset with how it came out because, she deserved it. She worked hard and she got it and she deserved it. She won. It was more of that she won and less that I lost. So I had to give her that credit. But it was pretty frustrating just to see someone else win. That's kind of just a frustrating thing, but hopefully this year we can figure some things out, come back and have a really good outdoor season. That would be awesome. So
now everyone knows that Concordia's got a great throwing program. It's really even in the last couple of years been taken off even more with Coach McLaughlin. How much pride do you take in being part of that success?
I personally take a lot of pride in it. I know the throwing squad takes a lot of pride in it. It's really cool to see how the majority of people that are throwers are upperclassmen now. Before they were we had big groups in the freshman and sophomore classes, and now it's grown and is we're seniors and juniors, and so you just see they're obviously going to progress, but now we're hitting our peaks and our progression. So I'm really excited to see how this year turns out. Last year, of course, was awesome. We had just incredible amount of success, and so I'm hoping we can keep going with it. Ed's a great coach. We love him to death, and he just does a great job. He kicks our butts every day, even though we hate him for it most of the time. But he really does know what he's doing, and he supports us as athletes, but he also supports us as people too. It's just crazy. He knows us individually and how we work, and he adjusts his coaching style for each one of us. It's just crazy that a coach can be so diverse, especially in throwing. There's only certain things you can do or say, but he really does a good job of making everything different for each person. It's really cool. It's really cool to see.
How do you, as a program, feed off of some of the momentum from the men winning a national championship? Even though it was the men, it had to be an exciting thing for everyone involved with the track and field program. How do you try to carry that momentum over?
Honestly, I think it's been like a school-wide momentum. The amount of success we've had this fall is just been incredible. Like, people are literally taking, like, okay, we can do this. Our school is good enough. We are, like, athletic enough. We are good enough to do these things. Like, I mean, I just think everyone's fed off of all of that. I mean, even, like, I would even go back to, like, girls basketball last year. Like, they, like, kept going after, like, every year. It's just, like, every sports season just seems like they're, like, carrying this momentum of Concordia. And it's awesome to see. So I think we're kind of pushing off of their momentum. It's almost not like we're outdoing each other, but they're like pushing each sport to be better and better and better. So it's really cool to see school-wide, I guess.
Sure. How about this year's group of women's throwers specifically? How good is this year's group? I know it's a lot of returners. So
yeah.
A lot of people who've been All-Americans in the past.
Yeah. We lost one person, Brittany, which, I mean, she was amazing. I love her. She's one of my best friends. But we do have a lot of returning people. Callie, Steph, Katie, Nicole. We have a lot of upperclassmen returners, and that's really cool. I think it's really pushed us this fall, and even starting this winter with competition a little bit. It's a little bit of competition in, like, practices and stuff. And I know the boys have that, and they've kind of had that for the last, like, year and a half now. But it's something unique to see kind of girls kind of competing a little bit at practice and, like, pushing each other to get better. And but, I mean, of course, we're girls, so we get it, it's always kind of touchy. But I think it's been a really good experience, too, because it's been something where we don't get mad at the other person for getting better. We're excited that the other person's getting better, and that excitement's like, okay, now I can do that too. If you can do it, I can do it, kind of thing. So, I think they're really feeding off each other. I think it's gonna be good. I'm really excited about it.
How much better does that make you when you have other All-Americans you're competing against in practice? It's not like you're just blowing everybody away every day. You've got to work hard just to compete with your teammates.
Yeah, it is. It's good and a little bit bad. It kind of is harder to, like, focus on really little things and, like, focus on one thing throughout the day, because you're like, oh, I don't want that to make it look like I'm not throwing far, but you have to do those little things in order to be able to throw far. So it becomes one of those things. But I think ultimately, when we start throwing fulls and getting really serious at practice, I think it's really hopeful that you're not the best all the time. And, I mean, you may be good one day, you may be bad the next. And that's something you have to take with a little grain of salt and work on, trying to get better every day, even when you have your bad days. Because you're not going to have a great day every day out of meet. Like, you can't throw. One day you're just maybe not going to throw well, and you're going to have to figure out how to fix something or do something to be able to compete. And so, I think we're really working on that whole competition aspect, which I really hope will help us, like, when we get into big meets, like nationals, like conference, to really compete instead of, just throwing far, like really competing. So I think that'll be really cool to see this year.
Now, as a team, you're at a point. This program has reached a spot where it's a disappointment, isn't it, if you're not competing for the conference championship and doing well at nationals? Is that kind of the mindset where everybody's at right now?
Yeah, and I think that's where we should be. Mm-hmm. I think that should be every team's goal. Like, you should be competing hard for conference, and you should be competing really hard for national. Like, it shouldn't be something where we're complacent with winning one meet or something like that. I don't think that's where our focus should lie. I think we want to win. You want to win whatever meet that takes a score. And so it's kind of frustrating when meets don't take scores because you don't get that, like, if you lose, you don't get that incentive to do better. But if you win, I mean, I don't know. A lot of meets don't take scores, so it's really hard to, like, tell where you're at as a team. And so when I'm excited to see this, like, conference and nationals, especially indoor, I think it's going to be really interesting. Cool.
Last thing, how intimidated are the new throwers of you when they know you've won a national championship? I mean, that's got to be tough for them to live up to.
Okay, of me, honestly, they're not scared of me at all. Let's get facts straight here.
Do you introduce yourself as national champion, Liz King?
No, I usually say, hi, I'm Liz, and then someone yells it from the back or something like that. Honestly, we have really talented freshmen. Really, I mean, we've got some really hard workers, and I think they are excited to just be a part of the program, and I think that makes us excited that they are passionate about being a Concordia thrower, being a Bulldog thrower. And so I don't know if they're necessarily intimidated. I think they are just really excited to be around, and they're excited to get better and a little motivated, I guess, from like everyone's success. I think they get motivated to be better. I remember we were like that as freshmen. I remember having conversations with Steph. She was so funny. She would just, I would look at the girls and I'd be like, oh my goodness, they're so good. Oh my goodness. And Steph would no care in the world. She goes, oh, I'm gonna be better than them. All right, Steph, I'm with you, girl. Let's go. And so she was always the one that was very, very motivated by that type of thing. I was kind of the one that was like, well, they're so good. So she's really, really helped me throughout all these years as a thrower to be motivated and push me to get better and not to be complacent. And I hope she has a really good year. I hope Callie has a good year. I think we're going to do really well this year overall.